I'm Hugo Disler from Farming Secrets. I just want to have a bit of a chat on my opinion, which is actually more than my opinion. I want to bring some facts to you people who are listening to this, that it's all to do with the family farmer and the consumer who's aware of what they're eating, and industry involvement in positioning itself so industry can make money in the process of from the produce to the marketplace. And the basic thing is that the more steps you put into the process of the raw material going to the consumer, then the more you're adding to climate change, the various things what the industry is making out as bad, you actually are contributing to that. I'll give you an example. If you take a beef or mutton, the carcass would, or parts of the large chunks of the carcass would go to the butcher shop. You go to the butcher shop, he cuts it up the way you want to cut up, puts it on the scales and gives it to you in a plastic bag or whatever. So you've only got one bit of contamination, which is the plastic bag. You take the same situation where it goes to a processing plant. From the processing plant, it goes to a packaging plant, and various things get added or subtracted, whatever, and various packaging, whether it's cryopacked or polystyrene underneath the meat. It's just adding to the process. And when you consider the adding to the process, it's all actually working against the very thing this article is about. Why beef about plant-based meat? Beef. And this obviously a paid journalist to come up with this clever wording, of which we'll cover later, about there's nothing wrong with it. Well, okay, there's nothing wrong with it, but you're adding to the problem rather than subtracting from the problem at the moment. The next thing, Ray, is I get a bit suspicious when you see signs like this in the paper. I'll have to hold up one sheet at a time. It's a double sheet, which is, as you can read for yourself, meat is bad, in other words. The next sheet, same thing, meat equals heat. Meat equals climate change. And what also you get with industry is that they will have got young people. Oh no, go back to, the next step is our law enforcement, our policing people, which is called Triple C. What is it called?
ACCC.
Yeah, ACCC. They looked into it and they come up with a number of rules as to what this fake meat should cover, packaging, naming, and that sort of thing. But from that, you get an onslaught of articles, sort of saying, well, no, it's okay. So you get the marketing of fake meat like this, and they pick a nice, attractive fellow who's running some sort of factory where they're going to be producing fake meat. And then they also got a farmer here, a nice attractive gentleman who's got farms, but also is going into producing artificial or protein from plant-based protein. I presume that means fake meat. And then of course you had that previous fellow, this fellow here, the nice attractive gentleman here, 25-year-old, who's learnt that animals, the methane is bad, and that he's got to develop a company, and it's got a full-page article of the gentleman here who talks about what he's doing. Obviously, he needs to understand some facts about this continued on, and it does have other people coming in to sort of say, well, no, it's not quite as simple as that. So, Ray, what I want to cover is this, that animals are being blamed for methane and climate change, and when animals are grown naturally, how they should be, the plant, which is an antenna to the cosmos, is attracting cosmic nutrients. I know that might sound strange, and it's putting them into the soil. So it's actually animals are increasing the carbon in the soil and mitigating climate change. not increasing it. And and same thing with pastures that are grown with cover crops, etc. They are drawing pastures, or cereal crops, which are drawing, which have cover crops, are drawing carbon out of the atmosphere and putting into the soil. It's when we use synthetic fertiliser in mass production, which could easily go into this fake meat, that we're getting synthetic fertiliser, which takes an enormous amount of horsepower, which is adding to climate change, takes enormous amount of energy, takes enormous amount of horsepower to go spray the paddocks, etc. And the key thing there is artificial nitrogen is actually creating nitrous oxide when it's expelled from the soil, which is far more harmful than this so-called CO2. So the main thing is for consumers to realise industry's leading the sort of vanguard, leading the thing on fake meat, so they can chisel in with more activity into food production. People have got a choice. They've got the power of voting with their dollar, voting with their common sense, and buying products that have got least amount of packaging and have come most directly for the farmer. The farmer benefits, the community benefits, and you benefit as well, because you're not buying something that comes from a factory with any amount of additives put in them, which you not necessarily know how good those additives are for your health. So the more natural you can be, and the more you can vote with your dollar, cut out the processes, cut out unnecessary processes, unnecessary activities like using synthetic fertiliser, packaging, etc., and realise or take on the fact that already naturally fed sheep, cattle, pigs are actually contributing to less of the carbon, drawing carbon down rather than contributing to the problem. By adding extra steps, you're actually increasing the problem. So fake meat, to me, is actually increasing the problem rather than decreasing the problem. So it's very unfortunate that they pick a very nice, attractive gentleman like this and play up how fantastic he is, when I think it's highly questionable what he's doing. In fact, it's more than questionable. It's the facts aren't there. And I think that's what we've got going at the moment with COVID. Whether you're pro-health by getting an injection or pro-health by looking after your immune system, we're not getting the facts, especially from the industry side of the COVID side, or the industry side of the equation. I mentioned about cosmic energy. Well, that's actually like atoms and nanoparticles, like parts of the atom, which is mind-boggling that the plants can take up. The other energy is this, that there's an energy the physicists have come up with, which has been portrayed in this lady's book, Lynn McTaggart, and us humans, when we can tap into that. And with that energy, we can ask the universe whether the situation is true. You're using muscle testing. There's many different ways of doing muscle testing. And that is something that, again, industry and the establishment don't want people to know about muscle testing or how to tap into universal energy. Yet I believe the military and the CIA know how to do it. This, on her second book, is The Bond. Now that you know how to tap into universal energy, go out there and talk to other people and realise that we're all in the same boat, and it's not a case us against them. As she says on this particular book, we can cross the deepest divides, meaning black or white. We can cross those deepest divides by embracing both sides, and we have the middle ground, the proper middle ground with facts, not just middle ground because one side's stronger than the other.